What's up, gamers? How's it going? Welcome in, everybody. Oshik and Recall. D. Steven, how's it going, everyone? K-Mac, what's up? What's up, Mang? Not much. It's just a whole bunch of things. My fridge broke 2 days ago. And this is like a full break. It's broken many times, and like we've had people come out and look at it and replace parts, and it just still happens. I don't really know what is wrong with it. Also, the ice maker is probably on its way out again. It already broke once and I fixed it. So it's just like, you know, it gets to a point where it's not worth it anymore. But we got a new one on the way. It'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, it does kind of suck. Also, Mice King on YouTube, welcome in. But you know, it's whatever. The hardest part is just trying to figure out what to do with all your food. You know? I mean, luckily we have like another fridge in the garage, so we're able to just kind of transfer everything in there. But like, what would you do if you just had one fridge? You just let all of the food rot? I don't know what you would really do. So, but yeah, anyways. But yeah, lured in. It's coming up, guys. We are 9 days away, which is pretty insane to think about. So, I'm excited to see what happens with launch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how things will go. It is too bad. I realized we totally missed out on the personal calendar stuff. Because since we're launching the 17th, the sale ends the 9th, and apparently when we were looking on stream like a couple days ago or whatever, the summer sale hides the personal calendar from the front page, which is why I couldn't find it and why I'm not getting any like major traffic from it because it's just not there. So it's kind of very unfortunate, I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. I just didn't know that would be a thing. You know, I didn't think about it. But you live and learn. It is like a very new feature, so it's really hard to plan around it, you know? Because, I mean, this date was planned a long time ago. So I don't really have that much wiggle room for changing it. So it's whatever, you know? We lose 6 days of pre-marketing, whatever. I'll just make a couple more videos to make up for it. Unless it's like super important and I made a horrific mistake, but we'll see. But what it is a learning opportunity. Now I know that's a thing for the next game, you know? So I gotta be really careful to pick a date where the previous 2 weeks is not a sale. Or some like store front page event, right? But yeah, anyways. So, we're gonna work on probably a bunch of stuff today. You can send a free copy to some popular streamers and hope they play it on stream. Yeah, I've got Graham's helping out with that. Hopefully we can get somebody doing some content stuff. It is kind of really hard to like reach out to creators unless like they know who you are, right? Because the problem is people get so much spam and garbage, you know? Especially like the really big content creators. If you send them an email, likely it just goes straight to spam inbox. And if it doesn't, it's probably just going to be ignored, you know? And that's just how it goes. So it kind of sucks. But that's the reality of marketing sometimes. Unless, you know, the game is so incredibly amazing that they bypass the spam allegations. But yeah, we'll definitely be sending keys out and stuff to content creators. I have had a couple pretty sizable channels make some videos, so you know, it's not the worst thing ever. Like Idle Cub did a video which got like 70,000 or something, and then Blitz did a video which got a bunch too. There's been some around. I think a good one definitely would be like Dangerously Funny, because he actually did a video on Starground too. That's helped a lot. But, you know, here's one of the funny things, is that with our own videos that I've been putting up on YouTube and stuff, they kind of work pretty well. You know, like, I've seen more traffic come from my own videos than anything. More than content creators, more than anything on Steam. I've gotten like 5 times, or like, no, like 10 times the number of wish lists from our short form videos than I did with the Next Fest. So I'm starting to feel like maybe that's just the play, is like not even worry so much about trying to get content creators to do stuff. I gotta use some eye drops. How's it burning? Because if content creators want to play it, they'll find it. But if I can do my own video, it feels like it works better. I don't know. You know? And so far it has been. Because I mean, like, literally just like 2 days ago or whatever, I posted a short. I spent like an hour, and it got 20,000 views. And of course, like a full video view count doesn't really compare to a short, you know. But still, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I definitely do see some conversion between them. And like, those videos are permanent. They're still going to be bringing in views in the foreseeable future. Not a whole lot, but I think that does matter. So yeah. But it's good. I think that's a very powerful thing, being able to do your own marketing like that, because you're not at the mercy of just hoping and praying that somebody decides to bless you with their YouTube video, right? It's like, if I don't succeed, I can create my own success, you know? Which is really good. So, yeah. I think that's quite a good thing. Anyways, not to yap forever. So let's see. Little Paper Astro. I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome in. How's it going? We're gonna get started here and actually do stuff now. Okay. So, learn in this funny little game. What's the last thing I worked on? Oh yeah, something I need to do really quick too, is all these control nodes in here, when you turn on Arabic, they're moving, which is bad. So we just had to go in and fix them really quick. It's just all of these nodes in here. It's all these control nodes. I don't think there's any sub-control nodes there. I'll make sure. There might be some on the windows. Actually, no, those are no 2Ds. So we just have to say in here, I think it's in layout or something, there's like direction preset, or in localization. So instead of saying inherited, I want to force it to left to right. I don't want it to change. So yeah, that should fix that issue. We can go load up the game and make sure. Yeah, that's pretty good talent too, is it? It sounds like it's not. Sounds like I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Alright, wait for this to load up. How does synergies work? Doesn't really properly explain it. Yeah, so basically if you have the fish listed in a synergy in your tank, it adds an income multiplier to all of the fish in the tank, right? So here, I'll like explain it better in just a second. Let me test this. Just make sure I'm not seeing any big issues. We're good there. Also, let me go get the change log going. So let's look at this tank that I have here. Oh yeah, I forgot my sponge is terrible. I hope that the sponge is powerful enough for people. I mean, it is like a pretty... It'll probably be fine. The only time that you really have to do it is in the tutorial. So even if it is like it takes a little bit too long, it's only a quick initial thing. We'll see. I don't know if anyone's messed with the new sponge stuff. So like, let's take a look at this tank, for example. I don't actually have synergies researched. Hold on. Let me give myself some ascension points. Boom. All right, so I have synergies here, right? And then over on the left, you have to like find the synergies, right? So I think I've already found, or I've reset my game, so I don't have them anymore. But if I get another tank out here, let's clean this bad boy up. There we go. So like this is the Carp Kids one here. If I get those 4 fish, then I get the 1.5 times income multiplier. There's also the cheap one. So let's go get those guys, right? I do need some more sorting options in here. So goldfish. We need the minnow. And also, what's the other guy we need? The bluegill. He's in here somewhere. Where is he? I must have him. Unless I put him in a tank already. Oh, I did. That's why I don't have him. Bluegill. Boom. So now I got that synergy found. And then it shows up here and it has the gold border, and you can see it gives me that income multiplier to these fish. So that's sort of the way it works. The sponge upgrades are sometimes pointless if you just turn it off. I mean, yeah, it's fine. Like, I added in that option just in case people really dislike having to clean their tanks, you know? So, you know, the gameplay options, the way I see those is that they're very, like, game breaking, but that's kind of on purpose. Like, you can really customize things heavily if you want. I think it's fine. I'm not super worried about it. So the intentional gameplay is that feature is not on, you know, or you do accumulate tank grime. So anyways, worst thing that could happen. Yeah, I think it'll probably be okay. We'll see. I mean, I can still release another update and tweak that sponge cleaning power. So let me know what you guys think about the base, like how it feels to start from the beginning if anyone's restarted. We'll have to see. I like the new sponge. That's good. Let's see. Bear Devs on YouTube. Do I do the pixel art yourself? I do. I've done all of the art. So yeah, literally everything. The only thing I might not have done is like this, which is the God Ray shader, because it's just a super popular shader on the Godot Shaders website. But otherwise, everything else is pretty much me. Even a lot of these shaders are mine, like this water shader and the algae shaders and stuff are all shaders I've created. So yeah, quite a lot of them. Maybe one day I'll also make a God Ray shader too. Who knows? Shader is awesome. Thank you. Ah, you're on Twitch now. Yeah, welcome in. Synergy with the bristle nose. Oh, the lobster guy. So that's the you have the tadpole, the freshwater snail, the freshwater shrimp, and the bristle nose pleco. Those are those guys. Spoilers, guys. But yeah. These guys are all the carp guys. Goldfish, Oranda, koi, and carp. I kind of want them to be a little bit of a puzzle on purpose, so it should be something. I mean, like once you unlock one, it shows the fish sprites permanently, so it's kind of like, you know, fine. Maybe one day I'll add in a button too, where I can just like click, you know, and then it automatically adds those fish into your tank. That would honestly be pretty nice. So, little quality of life thing. Let's see, Mice King. I want to get into coding and making games. Do you have any advice? I always say I think the most important thing for learning and improving is making sure that you're having fun, right? I think the thing that kills people when they're trying to learn game development is they're like too preoccupied with making progress instead of enjoying the process, right? And I think that's a bad thing. Like, obviously it's important to learn and improve, but I think like when you're trying to like, I mean, everybody works differently, you know, so it really just depends. But for me, I find if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I'm gonna lose motivation to do it, and then I'm just not gonna do it anymore, right? So for me, if I want to improve on something and learn and get better at things, I have to set up a workflow to where I'm going to enjoy doing it, right? Because this is the thing about enjoying something, is that you're just gonna want to do it to enjoy it. And so like it's almost like a guarantee that you will get better at it, you know? I think it's just such a great way to learn and improve your skills. I don't know why it's not a more standard thing. I don't know. I mean, school systems and stuff attempt to do it, but it never really works out. I don't know. That's the big thing I would recommend. And read documentation. Like if you're using an engine like Godot, you can just search for the Godot documentation right here. And it's super, super useful because there's so much information in here that everybody always just completely skips. Because there's like literally the first page that you enter in here. It's like, okay, I've never made a game and I want to make a game. You click on that, boom. Everything you need to know. Right? Like this is just a free, great resource that everyone should use. So it talks about Godot and just programming in general. You know, it's great. So, and then you can just go through these different pages and it talks about what Godot is and all of the different like parts of Godot and stuff like that, right? And this is all really important stuff to know. So, you know, like all of this stuff. It's just very good information. Licensing, Godot versioning. And then there's a section right here, learn to code with GDScript, right? And this is really useful if you don't know how to program, because it's like this little free like course. It's just an open source like teaching thing, right? So you can like do these different lessons and go through and learn all these aspects of Godot. And this is also just good information for everybody too. Like it doesn't only apply to Godot. A lot of this is just how to program in any game engine. So this is still a pretty useful resource even if you're not using Godot. But it's good. It explains how programming works and how to do it. So it's free. Anyways, hopefully that helps though. Yeah, just do the things that you want to do and have fun with, and read documentation. Doing those two things will put you above a lot of people. I feel like. So excited, not gonna lie. Cool to watch you make this from like day one to where you are now. Dude, thank you. Yeah, it is pretty insane how we've gone from practically nothing into a full-on game in like 6 months. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that was the goal, right? From the very beginning with Lured In for me was finish the game in 6 months. And we're pretty much, I guess July, it's technically 7 months, but I think we're close enough to say it's around 6 months because it's only halfway through the 7th month. So I'd say, yeah, 6 month development time. Pretty good. Yeah, this is like what I should have done with Starground, right? Is set out a super strict like date for launch like that from the very beginning and get it done. I just tackled too many things with Starground, but it's fine, you know? Honestly, in a lot of ways, Lured In, working on this game was a chance for me to like test my theory, you know? Can I make a game in 6 months and will it be financially viable? So we'll see. I mean, so far wishlist counts and stuff are good. I don't know if I'm gonna make like I'm not expecting this to blow up or anything. I'm not gonna make $100,000 probably. But if I could supplement my income, you know, I mean, here's the thing with games is that they're passive income sources. Like this game will continue making me money 5 years in the future. It's not just gonna completely flatten forever. So that's the nice thing I feel like about short games like this is because, oh, I don't have my water bottle. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for the hydrate. So this is the thing about short games is I can make 2 a year about, right? And so let's say that over the next 5 years, I make 10 games. And if they're all raking in like $100 a month, you know, on the low days, that's not including sales and stuff like that. That's like $1,000 a month. I mean, that's like obviously not a bunch of money, but that's like stable money. You know what I mean? With large projects, I just don't feel like I could do this sort of thing. Get a stable income because it's too risky, you know? I go years and years without any money, and then I have to hope and pray that the game does well. It's just not worth it. Yeah, I think tiny games are the way to go. And this is an extremely low estimate. Like, I make about like $500 a month with Starground right now. And I would say it's in that arc, that era of the low income. So, you know, if I can make $500 a month off of Lurden 2, I think that'd be pretty nice. Let's see what else is in here. How'd your next fest go? New here? Yeah, it went pretty well. I mean, like, it didn't blow up. I think over the years, Next Fest has become worse, in my opinion. Just because it stayed the same, and there's so many games in Next Fest now. Because how many games were in the 2026 Next Fest? It was like thousands more than last year, right? So there's 4,382 playable demos. The last Next Fest had like thousands less than that, I think. So we're seeing this trend just because of all this AI slop. Next Fest is being saturated with garbage. And I think that's making it a lot harder to actually build wish lists from Next Fest. So I don't think it's as important anymore as it used to be in the past. I think it's because I got around like 1,400 wish lists from it, and that was I already had 10,000, so it's a pretty small portion of our wish list count. So, you know, not super great, but I like in comparison to everyone else that went through it too, it's not like Lurden did particularly bad, you know what I mean? It's just that that's how everybody did. Everybody did worse this year. So, it is what it is. I genuinely love the dog that walks around. He's so cute. Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, he's a little cutie patootie. You can pet him. I would be burnt on the stake if you couldn't pet the dog. So I had to. What coding language do you recommend for beginners? I say Python or GDScript is very easy to start out with. It's just the easy syntax and stuff, and there's a lot of support for it online. So I'd probably recommend those. C# isn't like terrible either, but C# is, I would say, harder than learning Python or GDScript. So Python, I think, is like by far the easiest language, I would say. Now, there's easy, you know, I think there's Python languages are good for different things, right? Python is very high level. So you use a lot of libraries and stuff, and a lot of stuff is done for you already. But like, let's say you're making like a rendering pipeline, using Python is going to be harder than using a lower level language. So it's not that it's always easier, it just depends on what you're doing. But if you're just starting out, then I think Python is a solid option. I know like a lot of universities now, the introductory programming courses exclusively use Python. So let's see, loud on YouTube. Uncle Bob's Clean Code series helped me a ton. Learn about the solid principles and stuff. Hey, thank you for the bits. I really appreciate it. Still gotta get the so after learning comes out, we'll work on the overlay more. Thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, memorize data types. That's a very good thing. Like, you have to know what all those different things mean. Like, what is an integer and a Boolean stuff. That's always really useful. Yeah, the Clean Code series is useful. There's also, like, this Computer Science 50 class from Harvard or whatever, just free on YouTube. It's very long, so, you know, you can watch that if you want, just in the background or something. It's still helpful. See, how long of a game is Starground? Well, development-wise, I've been working on it since August of 2024, so we're coming up on 2 years. I'm still not done with Starground, and this is the problem, is it's just taking me so long to make Starground. And it's because of this funny guy right here, Early Access. I don't know if I'm ever going to do Early Access again. I just don't think it's worth it anymore. It's, you get locked in, and people are losing trust in Early Access because so many games never leave Early Access, so it just kind of, I don't think it's worth it anymore. Never know, maybe one of these small games will, yeah, explode and come, yeah, exactly. I think that's what's great about doing small games is you never know. You never know when an idea might just click and blow up, so I think that's the other aspect of why I want to do smaller games, because right, it's less risk. If you put all your eggs in one basket, it's like with investing, it's dangerous because if your investment doesn't pay off, you waste all that time and energy. So by making small games, I'm diversifying. Like, even if I lose out on a couple months of work, it doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things because I've got a bunch of other projects either planned out or already released making me money. Right, so that's the idea, at least. It doesn't mean I'm just trying to make games as quick and bad as possible. I'm still putting in time to make them good games. But just avoiding spending like 2 years on a game. That's the big thing. YouTube Shorts seem to be the new meta. Yeah, they've been doing really good. I think posting on short form has been great for me so far, so I'll probably keep doing that in the future. Drop yourself in a C if you can go through it, then nothing else will cause you any problems. That's true, that's true. C is kind of scary. Honestly, I kind of prefer C over C++ in a lot of ways. I really don't like dealing with pointers and stuff in C++. And all the like dynamic, like memory freeing stuff is really annoying. C isn't the worst language ever, I would say. Like it's doable. It is a hard language in comparison to something like Python or more modern languages, but still definitely, you know, worthwhile. If you know, I mean, C is a good foundational language to know. So there's no synergies for saltwater fish. Yeah, we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna add in a bunch of saltwater synergies, maybe today even, we'll see. With getting a lot of wish lists was easy, all games will be popular. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a big combination of luck and skill. I think a lot of the luck comes down to just happen picking the right idea at the right time, you know? Like if you take a look at like Among Us, for example, right? Like that game was kind of dead initially, I think during launch, but then COVID happened and everybody's at home. And so they accidentally stumbled into like the perfect game to play during COVID, a social deduction game, right? So that's kind of a good example of like how, honestly, it does feel like it's luck-based a lot of the time because sometimes there are circumstances around in the world that can affect how your games do. And obviously it's not all luck, but still. It does feel like it a lot. Twitch censored the word coward? That's odd. Grandpa is my bullying? What is that? Bullying. I don't know what that means. Also, welcome in, Nick. How's it going? C++ is a mistake of language. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. It's not all bad. It can be very performant if you use it right. Like Bedrock, Minecraft Bedrock Edition is programmed in C++ and it runs really well. It just depends. But I think we have so many other language options now that C++ feels kind of not as good anymore. You know? Like if you really want to aim for performance, something like Rust would probably be better for you instead of C++ now. JavaScript hate is overrated. Well, I think it's the same sort of thing with C++ too, where it's like, it's not that the languages are terrible. Like there's still really big stuff made with them and they do their job, but it's just now they've lost relevancy. Like back when JavaScript and C++ were the only languages, then they were great. But now that there's so many other alternatives and Python is super powerful now, it feels like those two just aren't as good options anymore. So let's see, what's this video here?
We know you appreciate precision.
Ads. There's a rant about C++. 2-hour rant. I'll have to watch this. I wish I could. Where's the share button? Share. Whatever, I'll just copy the link and then. I swear YouTube keeps making their layout worse and worse, guys. I miss the old days. Yeah, having really good product first plus luck. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, you have to have both, right? Luck is nothing if there isn't a good game there to take advantage of the luck. So that's kind of like a big thing. Anybody that says it's just luck is wrong, because it's not. Like, obviously, if you make a really good game, you're more likely to succeed. But will there ever be some kind of ending for Lurden? Yeah, like Minecraft, where it's on the side as a goal. I think I will introduce like a little bit of a... Yo, is this like Grandpa's brother right here? Look at this. I like the same guy. I think I probably will have like a little line that you unlock at the end of Grandpa saying like, great work, you did it, you expanded the aquarium. That'll kind of be like the story. Maybe one day I'll work on adding more into the game. Like I'd love to do more NPCs and stuff that walk in and flesh that system out more, because I think it's fun. So I might eventually do that. But yeah, it's just hard to fit everything in. Oh, you're talking about data types. Yeah, inflow booleans. I mix boolean and boolean. Oh, boolean. Okay, I get what you mean now. GDScript, Python, Rust, Go, languages you'll ever need. That's fair, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, if you know all those ones, you can pretty much tackle anything. I mean, even just with Python, I feel like you could literally tackle anything, you know? Here's the thing, though, too. I think the more languages you learn, the easier it is to learn the next one, by far. Because it's like you build up, like, you stop seeing new things, and then you tackle a new language, and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this before in this other language, you know? Because there's only a limited number of new things that you can encounter, so it really does get so much easier. I feel like I could learn a new language in, like, a week. You know, already like halfway understand it just because of all the other languages that I know. But, oh man, yeah, next to the like dislike thing. Yeah, that. I hate how they removed the dislike. They're gonna remove the dislike button from main videos too. They just removed it from short form videos like a couple days ago. So now it's just like a heart, like every other social media platform in the universe. So it's stupid. Define good game. Well, that is hard to quantify, right? That's the challenge. Yeah, I don't know. I think the big thing for me, thank you for the cheese time, obviously, is that the game is fun. That's the only thing I really care about. I don't care about graphics. I don't care about anything. The only thing that ever really matters, if you boil it down, Yo, what's up, Ace? Thank you for the hydrate. The only thing that matters is if a game is fun. That's it. So I think a good game is a fun game. That's it. Let's see. HTML and CSS. Yeah, I guess they're not. I don't know if you technically call them programming languages. They're more like data-driven languages in a way, if that makes sense. It's like it's more like a format, like a JSON file. But yeah, they are good to know for sure. You can make a lot of crazy stuff if you know those two. E.T. 1982. Well, that's crazy. I think what defines a good game is a game that has a catchy story, is fun, more than 30 minutes of gameplay, and isn't AI slop. I mean, yeah, those are pretty good criteria. But also another thing about games too is that it's subjective, right? Because everybody likes different games. So my definition of what a good game is probably completely different to another person, and that's fine. That's the way it should be. That's why we have more than one game. That's why there's like 100,000 games and not one game, right? Because if everybody liked one game, then there's no reason to have another. So yeah. It's certainly so hard lately to differentiate the AI slop. It does get harder, and it's going to get even harder, and eventually we will reach a point where it's impossible. I'm not gonna lie. So that's just how it goes. It's already very close to being impossible to, like, for static images, being able to tell if they're AI generated or not. At least I find. I just can't, like, you can still tell sometimes. It depends on the type of image. I can still easily tell the video because AI does this weird thing where like the backgrounds are super noisy. Like you see like the trees, like they're like noise, like static. It's very obvious. But images are kind of a different story. I think it just really depends on the kind of image for me. But I've seen some images. But here's the thing that's scary, right? Is that I don't know what images I don't know are AI. You know what I mean? So I've probably seen so many that I thought were real, but now it's at this point where I don't realize anymore that they aren't. Right? And that's see, this is the thing about AI is we're just going to kind of not even know that everything is AI at a certain point. So unless there's streams of them making a thing like me. Maybe I am AI, guys. You don't know. No, I'm not. Probably. Cube lore. The cubes whisper to me. The Tetraminos. Yeah. It's crazy. Kind of depressing that AI will be able to make games on its own in the future. I mean, it's unfortunate and all, but here's the thing with games that I think will keep them relevant forever. Is that to me, games are art, you know? Even if AI generates an image or something that looks cool, it means nothing to me if I know that it's not real. Right? That's the thing. So I think that fact alone means that game development isn't ever really going to go away, you know? Certainly a lot of aspects of it are going to be automated. People will probably forget how to code and they're just going to use AI to program, so programming will probably die. I'm not going to lie, which sucks, but it's how it goes. But you know, it's art. And I think to make people feel things, it has to come from a being that can feel things, right? I don't feel anything watching an AI video or playing AI slop because I'm like, it's AI. It's not real, you know? It's just how like dreams don't mean anything because it's not real. Dreams are just some made up crap. The only thing that really matters is real stuff. So that's what I think. It was the best and worst thing to come to this earth. I don't know how it's really improved anything yet, in my opinion, but we'll see. Oh, micro slop, yeah. I do hate all AI garbage in Windows. Though it seems like they've actually been better about it recently, which is funny. So we'll see if they continue doing that. Because they've actually like removed some AI stuff, and I was like, what? So it's interesting. I don't know, maybe they're just plotting. One of these days I'll move to Linux though. Because it just doesn't improve anything. I wouldn't care if the AI stuff actually helped, you know, as much, but like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help me at all. I don't understand why it's like a thing, you know? Like there are applications, I always say this, applications for AI that is actually really good for society. Like using it in the medical industry and detecting cancer and stuff. It's great. It's an instant direct benefit for everybody. You know, it puts less strain on doctors so that because we have such a shortage of medical care in the world. And you just get more accurate diagnosis and people die less. That's like an obvious benefit. But when it comes to like a little guy in the corner that's like, hey, how can I help you? And then I ask it to do a thing and it's like, unfortunately, that's out of my capabilities at the moment. It's like, well then why are you even here? It's just a waste of time. Computer AI, like AI chatbots and helpers like that to me are completely useless. So I'm tired of it. So I'm really surprised how well the AIs worked for the MC mod code. It's probably just because Minecraft mods are probably one of the most like public things of all time. I mean, Minecraft is the biggest game of all time, and it's by far, I think, the game with the most mods ever made. So it probably has a lot of training data for Minecraft mods in particular. I don't know how well it would perform with other stuff, though. What do you think about the recent... Oh, yeah, PlayStation isn't doing physical copies anymore. It's complicated. On one hand, it sucks because honestly, games are so massive now, it's really hard to install them on your PlayStation because they take like 200 gigabytes. And so you get like 4 games and then you're at capacity. So that kind of sucks. And also now, especially with how expensive SSDs are, it's really hard to install games digitally. But also at the same time, discs are expensive and not very many people get discs anymore. I mean, there's still like a sizable chunk, but I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember the last time I bought a disc. You know, I don't use discs anymore. Yeah, they are kind of outdated. Also, thank you, Bird Des, for the follow. They are kind of an outdated medium. The same thing, it's bound to happen with, you know, it's happened with the hard drive in a lot of ways. Hard drives are still relevant, but it will one day happen where hard drives are an ancient technology and nobody uses hard drives anymore. It happened already with VHS tapes and cassettes, all of it. It all goes obsolete. It's just how it goes. And now discs are next. So yeah, they see Linux taking over. I hope, dude, I hope Linux takes over. That's all I desire in this world. It's a thing just because Microsoft are investing hundreds of billions in a product, you find a use case to justify it. That is true. That's honestly, it's ridiculous. You still have your app Copilot full of 16 gigabytes of RAM your PC. Yes, more Copilot AI updates. Yeah, it's stupid. Ugh. Oh, is it to push it to do the performant version? Are you using like Claude or something? What is the performant version? Do I use Linux? I have used a lot of Linux before. You're saying like... You're talking... Yeah. I mean, I used it a bunch in university. So... And I still have to use it to test games and stuff like that. I don't like use it very often. It's not like a daily driver for me right now. But I do want to move over to Linux one day. I just need to wait a little bit longer. I'm really hoping that all of these Linux-based hardware launches with Valve will really help make gaming more feasible on Linux. I already talked about this on another stream. But the more people that have Linux machines, the more demand there is for games on those platforms, and the more tools become available for Linux, right? There's like a financial incentive to like port FilterForge to Linux or something like that. So I'm hoping that'll happen. So I'm probably gonna give it a few years and then maybe do a big PC upgrade for $10,000 because that's how much a basic computer costs. That's bad. PS5 discs are like glorified game keys because half them. Yeah, that's the thing too, is with the discs, you need to download them anyways. Oh, this is a stupid thing where because Blu-ray discs have like a limit on how big they can be. I think it's like 128 gigabytes. And so you put the disc in and they're like, we have to download additional data. So then what's the point of a disc then at that point if you have to download it anyways? So yeah, I think, I'm fine with that decision to get rid of discs because it's bound to happen one day eventually, and it costs Sony a lot of money probably. Like a performant version of some feature. Okay, yeah. I mean, this is also the thing with AI too, though, is it starts off being easy, and then later on it becomes a nightmare. Because it starts forgetting its own code that it wrote. And so it starts adding in things that all of a sudden stop working with the other things it's already done, right? Because it doesn't have... The thing with a human being is you have, like, the context of everything that you've created, right? And AI doesn't really have that very well. I mean, it kind of does, I'm sure, for some agents. I hate that term, but... I don't know. I haven't used enough to fully say, so I'm not gonna yap about something I have no idea about. 1K for a Steam machine. Yeah, I mean, that is my only concern about the Linux takeover, is it's quite expensive. But we'll see. I do hope one day the RAM shortage will stop. I mean, this always happens. Guys, if you look at history, you realize that what's going on is not anything new. Because if there's a shortage of something like RAM, all these companies are going to start being created to profit off of that shortage, and then all of a sudden it's going to flip the other way. There's going to be too much RAM. It's going to happen. This isn't just like unless we have infinite shortage for RAM, which is not going to happen. Eventually, we're either going to find a more efficient algorithm that doesn't use RAM anymore, or we're going to reach like the carrying capacity of Earth and we have no more water to make AI data centers. So eventually RAM will become very cheap. We just have to wait. Probably even worse than the disc is that they revoked 500 movies that people bought on their PlayStation. Oof. I don't know. This is why I don't use my PlayStation stuff. It's too, I don't like using an operating system that I don't like have full control over. You know? Like with Windows, I can take my data and go put it on a different computer or back it up and do whatever I want. But you can't do that with PlayStation. Like, and I really dislike how Sony can just do stuff to you like that. It's the same reason I use like Godot versus Unity, because it's like mine. I can do whatever. So yeah. Waiting for full NVIDIA support in SteamOS. Does it not have full NVIDIA support right now? Because that's kind of a bra moment. Just upgraded 64 gigs of DDR5. How are you that rich? That's insane. I was looking at 64 gigs of DDR5 because I want to upgrade my computer, but it's like $800 for 64 gigs. It's ridiculous. Man. Oh, you already had 32. Okay, well, that's better then. Makes sense. It's expensive. It is so freaking expensive. It's so dumb. I really miss the olden days, guys. Back in like 2018, where you could build like an awesome computer for $1,000. Like your CPU was like $300, RAM was like $100 for like a solid 32 gigs. Motherboard was like sub $100. Graphics card were sub 1,000. So you could like build a really solid PC for like nothing. And I did. I know, but it's not like that long ago. It's not like I'm talking about like 20, 30 years ago. This is only like 7 years ago. So, I don't know. It's just unfortunate. Because if you use Linux, it's my only issue with Linux always. Yeah. Well, that's a big deal breaker for me because think about hydrate. AMD drivers suck. I don't like AMD drivers, so I want to use NVIDIA cards. It's AMD supported, but they're working with NVIDIA to have support. Okay. Yeah, well, I hope they fix that because I want to use my NVIDIA cards. I don't know. There's another reason I use Windows, if that is the case. Also, here's the thing. I didn't know about that, and that's why I haven't swapped to Linux yet, because there's probably a lot of things about swapping to Linux that would present enormous issues that I just don't know about, right? So I kind of think it's too dangerous right now to make that swap. Maybe if I get super rich and have like an extra like 20 hours every day to just like every day, you know what I mean? But a bunch of extra time to customize my Linux, then maybe it'd be fine. But if I swap right now, it's gonna like be a massive impact to my productivity, you know? So that's kind of bad. That's harder than a truck. Yeah. I mean, it's not really inflation. Like inflation has gone up a bit, but the real cause is shortages and AI and Bitcoin mining. That's all that stuff is why. I think Bitcoin now has calmed down. Like it's not the main driver of increasing GPU costs anymore. I'm sure it's still a factor, but like now what they do with graphics cards is they set a limit on the hash rates, which stops Bitcoin miners from really utilizing them as much. So, but yeah. With NVIDIA, you lose 10 to 30% performance. That's kind of terrible. Yeah. On DX12 games, yeah. They'd probably have to have some kind of like translation layer right now to convert. Or to add in like support for, or like basically like virtualizing driver support or something. But yeah, DX12 though, Vulkan's better. DX12 is good for Windows only, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, Vulkan is better everywhere else. I'm glad that Vulkan has kind of like taken over a lot. It's great. Even Minecraft is Vulkan now. So, oh yeah, speaking of Minecraft, guys, I know I'm wasting time and not working on the game, but it's fine. But man, have you seen the new Minecraft stuff? I gotta say, it's pretty wacky. This is a link that shows something that came out recently. My RAM might be as expensive as they are. Oh yeah. Or colluding to drive up prices. I mean, it's possible. I mean, this is what happens when you have industries like this, because RAM is very expensive to create. You need like millions, or not millions, billions of dollars of investment to create RAM. And so naturally, there's only going to be a couple of companies that can make it. And when you only have like 3-4 companies doing something, prices will get high. Look at like the airline industry. That's another industry where it costs billions to create an airline. And that's why it's expensive. And it's the same with RAM. But it's still definitely, of course, AI is a big driver. I mean, RAM would be cheaper if there were more RAM producers. That's a given, but yeah, we'll see what actually happens. Lawsuits never go anywhere. Even if something does happen, the company pays some money, everybody gets $1, and then it's over. You know, it's just stupid. 800 lines to render a triangle. Crazy. OpenGL for us low tier PCs. Yeah. Still is good that Godot has support for that and stuff with their like mobile renderer. So yeah, frickin' Minecraft. Cushion block is cursed, guys. I don't know how I feel about cushion block actually. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna say this. I feel like cushion block is actually too versatile. But it is crazy. But I'm gonna be honest. There is this thing that happens when you have so many options, and I kind of feel that with modern day building in Minecraft now, where I have there's like 10 billion blocks for me to use, and I just have it's like too many blocks in a way. Like too many ways to build things. I know that sounds like such a stupid complaint, but in a way, it kind of almost feels like sometimes having so many choices like stifles my creativity. Because working with limitations, I think, makes me come up with ideas. And now that there's like so few limitations to Minecraft building, it's I don't know anymore. The cushion, I think it's like it would be better if it just couldn't clip into blocks and stuff. Like, I do really think it's cool how it can go on top of like snow but like being able to go into a block is a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. It is cool, but it does feel a little strange. Also, it is an entity, which is scary because it's gonna lag. Like, the cushions are probably not a good thing to place a bunch of. So, I don't know. We'll see. But it is interesting. I want to mess around with them. And also, this is still just a preview version. So, you know, we'll see what happens. They're probably going to change things around. There are some blocks that it clips with where I'm just like, that's a little weird. That looks a little stupid. But, yeah, I don't know. By the way, these companies have already all been sued. Yeah, there's the thing. Like, these companies that get sued for the same thing every year and nothing ever happens. Lawsuits don't matter anymore. Unless there's actual real government, like, legislation. It's already being used for some suspicious things, I imagine, yeah. I think overlapping blocks with the game needs IMO. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It's one of those things. I think I just need to mess around with it and see. I don't know to what extent they're broken. Yeah, so they can vertically sit on top of stuff too, which is wacky. I really do hope that they run good. Because if they don't run well, then it kind of defeats the point of placing them in builds, I feel like. Because, I mean, it's like when you place like 1 million item frames, you like move your camera to look at the item frames and your FPS drops to like 10. I have a worrying suspicion that it's going to be the same with these seats, but we'll see. Just because it's not like a real block. But they might have some new interesting rendering methods with like, because I know they've swapped over to Vulkan now, and so there's probably going to be a lot of changes to the rendering pipeline. So maybe they've fixed that recently, but who knows? I don't know why it lags so bad. I guess it's just because it runs like CPU processing. But it seems like they're doing a lot more entity-related block stuff like the sulfur cube and the seats now. So I imagine that those things probably run better now. We'll see. Should we have like normal block, like seed and create? I mean, I don't mind it being placed on top of some things in some situations, but I feel like when it like goes into other blocks, it just looks a little silly. But I don't know. Let's use that ad. Something funny you've been able to do for a while is put a pressure plate down and put an item frame on the same block. Oh, really? I didn't even know you could do that. That's kind of wacky. I think that in a while they make cushion blocks just like they did with beds, but testing purposes, they're entities. They're probably easier to control that way. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I have no idea. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm glad that they are adding things, you know. I've said this before. It is sad that they're probably never going to work on like big stuff again. Because this is the problem with having these little mini updates like this, the content drops as they call them, is they're never giving themselves enough development time to tackle things that are truly like deep mechanically wise. Like we're probably never going to see a new dimension or anything like that. And in my opinion, that is really what the game needs. More so than just some new decorative blocks. But it's never going to happen. Unless they completely decide to switch up their development cycle. Or hire more people, which is not going to happen. Because Xbox is in a bad state. So. Probably because players can set them to avoid multiple player doing so on the same cushion they treat as an entity. Maybe. But it'd be pretty easy to take that same code of the like minecart and stuff and just apply it to a block, I feel like. People have done that already. Almost for a 20-year-old game, getting updates is still good anyways. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not complaining necessarily. I just think they like, I feel like it's like either one or the other with Minecraft, you know? Like, why can't they just be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. 5 content drops and then a big update. You know, or something like that. If they just communicated with their fan base a little better about update schedules, I feel like everything would be a lot easier for them. You know? But also I get that their fan base is scary because it's all baby children. So, you know. I'd be scared. It should take like 5 years to do a big update. I honestly would be fine with that. You know? It's sad and all to have to wait for a bunch of content. But like, here's honestly what I think Mojang should do with Minecraft is like, get the game and like oh my god. I just was like holding this like little pack of lip balm and it just like exploded out everywhere. Okay. I don't really have any tissues or anything. Guess I'm gonna put some on. I don't know what to do, guys. I'm just gonna wipe it off for now and then clean it later. Oh god. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it. Time has come. Good night, nice people. Thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Just petty it up. Yeah, thank you so much for the bits every stream, by the way. I really always appreciate it. So I promise I'll get you a cool animation on the overlay for bits soon. Even the small days are just so slow. It is pretty crazy how slow they are. I really do hope that the reason they're so slow is just because they're working on engine improvements in the background. But I have a feeling that that is pure copium. And it's not true. So. Yeah, and this is the thing. If they do small updates, they get flamed. And they do big updates, they get flamed. I do feel for Mojang sometimes, because I know they're in like an impossible situation with everything. Because they're literally having to appease like a significant portion of the human population on Earth, you know? So it's kind of hard to do because there's a lot of different people. So, yeah, I would love a big update to Minecraft, you know? I want to like come back and see Minecraft 2.0. Like that's really what I want. Like literally if it takes them 5 years, that's okay by me, right? Because Minecraft is in this unique situation where modding support is so insane that they can really chill for a while if they want to, and then just come back and immediately the game does super well again because everybody knows what Minecraft is, you know? So I really wish they would do that. Like, I don't know why they don't split it up into teams. It seems like it's ridiculous. Like, why don't they have a smaller team focusing on like little tiny content updates here and there, and then another team in the background working on the next big update, you know? If I was Mojang, and I just so happen to have the most profitable game ever in human history, I'd probably, you know, I'd probably like focus on like distributing my employees a little bit better, but I don't know. But anyways, we have ads going on. Apologize, gamers. Yeah, they need to be less strict version parity. Yeah, I agree. They do worry about that, I feel like, sometimes too much. I guess you could just not pay attention to drops for like 5 years. The only thing with that, though, is that the drops, like, they're all surface level mechanics. It's like, here's a new block, and here's a new biome. Like, there are systems that already exist in the game, which is fine. But, like, you're never going to get anything deeper than that with a drop, right? Which is what kind of sucks. I want, like, I want something fundamentally new, right? And that is the role that mods fill out a lot of the times. But, you know, mods are great and all, but it's different when a mechanic is integrated into the base game versus in a mod, I feel like. But yeah, I wish they would just, like, just add a new dimension, dude, already. Just get it over with. They need, like... If the problem with Mojang is coming up with ideas, then they need to give themselves a new foundation to build off of. And I really do feel like a new dimension would be that. You know what I mean? Because it like opens them up to a whole new universe they can explore. Where they can just be like, okay, literally now we can do anything we want with this new area. So, I don't know. I just think it's just silly. Anyways, enough yapping about Minecraft. Maybe doing the Deep Dark Dimension. I don't know if I believe in those leaks. There was like some weird AI generated logos that were created. I don't think those were real. So... Also, they fired that one guy that did a lot of the internal leaking anyways, so even if they were working on something, I don't think we'd hear about it anymore. So... yeah, I don't know. I guess my stance with Minecraft is I hope for the best. I hope they do big, cool content updates, but I prepare myself for the truth, which is that they won't. So, yeah. Dude, freaking ads. I hate ads. Ads are the scourge of this earth. I do get so tired of them. Alright. Ads are over though. For some reason Twitch isn't letting me follow anyone or resub. That's really weird. Leave it to Twitch to have a very buggy platform. Their subtitles are broken on every stream I've ever seen. Even just like from the streamer side too, it's very broken. Like I noticed like there's like some really like wacky like desync when it comes to the ads playing, because like all of a sudden I'll come in here and it shows that like an ad is starting, and then like 1 minute later it shows the ad is halfway through. It's just weird. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Twitch, but they need to fix things. It's like not right. I don't know. I can follow on mobile, but for Prime sub I can only do it on a browser. That's so weird. Twitch. Good old Twitch. I wish there was a new streaming platform. Blame Apple for the sub thing. Oh, right. Wasn't there like some rules where... Yeah. Apple like banned Twitch from doing the subs on mobile or whatever. It's stupid. Ugh. That seems weird though, why they would like... I mean, it's just linking your Amazon account, right? So... It's not like you're paying for anything. I could see for a regular sub, but for a Prime sub, why would it be... I think it's because the payment on mobile goes through Apple Pay. Yeah. It's whack. Apple and Twitch are two companies I'm always frustrated with. Anyways. What to work on? At this stage in development, it's so hard to decide what I want to do. And it's not because I don't have ideas. I have plenty of ideas of things I want to add into the game, you know? I want to add in like the whole bait system and new zones and lures and all this stuff. But that's not the problem. The real problem is that I have to be careful. Because we're literally 9 days away from launch. And I don't want to accidentally break something, you know? Or like not even necessarily break something, but negatively affect the balancing of the game, right? Because what if I add a new thing in and I realize, oh, this is so broken right now, and I have like 12 hours to fix it, you know? I don't want to leave myself in that situation. Plus, there's so much more stuff that I need to do on top of it all. I need to make a trailer. I need to update the Steam page with all of the new like screenshots and everything, and the description GIFs, and there's a lot of stuff I still have to do. So it's not just a matter of development time, really. I do feel like we could probably get the bait system done in time, but maybe let's work on a new minigame. I want to work on attaching the minigames to fish rarities, because I think it would be kind of like a nice thing. We don't need to have that many for the rare fish because they're rare, so I feel like you don't need to see as many unique minigames pop up. But still, I want to... where's that one? It's FG... No, that stands for fishing game. Lucid Chart? I think it's this one. Let's see what new minigame we could add in right now. I think Apple gets a cut on all in-app purchases. Oh, yeah. It is really stupid. What should do? Alright, go away. I don't care. Yeah, I remember that whole mess. Giving yourself some days before launch just for testing. Yeah, I definitely want to leave the last like 2 or 3 days, you know, open. No development because, well, development in the terms of testing. So I want to get this update out probably like on the 14th or something, you know? So that's why I'm like being so careful because I have to get the feature finished in time. I honestly wonder if I should wait on the bait mechanic until after launch. Like it would be nice to have for launch, but it's one of those things where it's like I worry, would I be able to get it done in time? Because there's still a lot of other things that I want to tackle, stuff like achievements and fleshing out like more ascension upgrades. So maybe it would be a better decision to focus on enhancing the pre-existing stuff instead of adding a new thing. But it's really hard to say. Miro 2, yeah, I had to do it on, me and Psycho had to do it on Lucid Chart because I don't have any more Miro boards I can make. Tackle, because it's a fish game. I'm slapping my belly because it's just so hilarious. Yeah. That's why I had to add lures, guys. All right. So these are the ones we've already done. Oh, stop. And we have other options in here. What would it add? Like different fish to get lured to different bait? It would basically be a way for you to kind of focus on particular fish. So right now, if you want to get a certain fish, you're basically just a complete mercy for what fish you end up actually getting. But if we had like a bait system, so every fish would have like a preferred bait assigned to them, right? So like this guy might like this bait and this guy might like this bait. And so you can like equip a particular bait, think with a spin, to catch those fish that prefer those baits, right? So that's the idea. It would really help you in filling out the Fishpedia, because if there's a fish that you just are struggling trying to catch, you can be like, okay, I know what bait he prefers, so let's use that bait to increase my chances of getting that specific fish. And here's the thing, I imagine as time goes on and I get more and more and more fish in the game, because I'm probably going to do some passes, like each update, I'd love to like add in one more fish to each region every single time, just so that we have more fish. So it's going to become harder and harder to fill out the Fishpedia because there's so many fish competing with their drop rates. And so bait is kind of a way to counteract that. I think it will really significantly help. So, but it is a whole mechanic thing, and it ties into the drop rates a lot, and I'm worried about adding in that feature right now. I'll totally add that in later after launch, but it's just one of those things. Am I really going to have time to get it finished before everything? Probably not. So yeah, these are some other mini games we just jotted down. I don't know if any of these are like necessary, but button mashing. Now here's the thing. I want the mini games to be relatively easy to complete on either controller or keyboard, right? And so something like the button mashing thing or whatever with Telltale is like, the problem with that is it prompts you with a random key, and that's, you have a limited number of keys on controller, and I don't want to implement key rebinding. So I think we'll probably avoid stuff like that. I don't think we need to do, I don't want to do anything that relies on a lot of different key binds. There should be one key bind for the whole mini game. So that'd be nice to have. I think it worked nicely as a first update after launch. Yeah, I think the more I think about it, that's the side I'm leaning toward, because I just don't think I'll have quite enough time to fully get it worked out before launch. Because here's the thing with deadlines and me, it's like, it feels like it's forever away. You know, I'm like, this freaking lured in game, I got like 6 months. And then all of a sudden it's 9 days away. And then even with 9 days, I'm like, oh, I could get quite a bit done in 9 days. And then all the other stuff I have to do starts clouding my mind. I'm like, oh man, 9 days is like nothing actually. You know what I mean? So I don't want to take on, I want to give myself more time than I think I need probably. But so yeah, I think we'll just keep that as a post-launch thing. Quick time event. I don't know how I feel about that. I think some of these are not going to work. I wouldn't completely mind a rhythm game, but the problem is that does also require multiple inputs, which gets a little complicated. I mean, with controller, you could do I don't know. That's the problem, right? It is hard to come up with more minigame ideas because I have to add in ones that are distinct enough, but then also there's some design constraints around. As a TMF asked what font Lurden is using, it's not TMI at all because it's a public font that I put on itch that you can get right now if you want. It's called Pixel Chip XL. I do need to update it because I've changed a couple of glyphs in here, but yeah, feel free to use it. It's free to use. So I ended up making it because there were like fonts that I almost liked. And I was like, this is a neat font, but sometimes the fonts were very hard to read. And it was tricky. I wanted something that still had like kind of a not cartoony, but like a cozy, like, how do I describe it? I don't want something cold and sharp like Arial, right? Because Arial is so plain that I think it would make the game feel too impersonal. So I wanted something that had like a tiny little bit of character, you know, some quirky little letters and stuff, but still something that was like normal enough to where it was still very legible. And so that's why I made this font. I did adapt it from another font. I didn't completely create every single character, but a lot of these I have. I've gone through and all of these characters for Greek and Cyrillic and all of this stuff and all the extended Latin characters I've done. So it's a very like large, like there's lots of characters you can use in the font. So, which is one of the things. I just want a nice pixel art font I can use in any game. I honestly probably will take this font and go put it in Starground, I think. The Starground font is fine, but it is really hard to read sometimes. And since it supports so many characters, it actually supports way more characters than the Starground font does, so it's probably going to be better that way. I might as well have like one universal font that I use for pixel art games, because it's just easy that way. And I think it works for a lot of different games. So, the GOAT. Thank you. Comic Sans but cozy and not stupid. Yeah. It is based around like the Comic Sans font, right? But I've gone through each of these characters and like made changes to it to make it not stupid, right? Sometimes I have added these little like serifs onto some of these characters to make them more like distinct from each other. So like, for example, the lowercase d has that little like hook there at the end. I just like how that looks better in my opinion. Same with like the A. Instead of doing like the baby A, where it's like the circle with the little thing, I swapped it to this A because I thought it seemed more legible against other characters like an O or a C or an E or whatever. So there are a lot of decisions I made like that I think makes it much more legible than Comic Sans. And just smoothing out some of these characters too. I made the O like more consistent and stuff. So there's a lot of tiny tweaks I made to make it more legible. It's a lot of work when I think about it, but it's worth it because now I have an epic font and everybody has an epic font they can use. Yeah, the readability is crazy for pixel art fonts. So hard to find one that you can actually read well. Yeah, it is really hard. I love all the stylization of some of these fonts, but then it's like, it's just too... Oh, I got a new post. Oh yeah, they said how to make itch pages cool. I had to respond to them. But yeah, they're just too stylized sometimes, you know? You can get away with more stylization with a non-pixel art font just because you have like more resolution, and so you can like put in tinier details. But when it comes to pixel art, you don't really have that luxury, so I had to figure something out. But I think we landed on a pretty good middle ground between everything. Also, one thing I hate about the Starground font is the capitalization of letters. This one I wanted to make sure the capital letters were clearly distinct from the lowercase, which it's pretty obvious here. Like you look at like the capital A versus the little a, or capitals, like the size difference is quite vast, which is good. I never liked how the font I use for Starground is the, it's not kiwi soda, it's lychee soda. And the capital letters almost look the exact same as the lowercase letters. Like size-wise, like the capital C versus lowercase c is very similar. And so it's bad. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to move away from this font. What size is this font based on in Godot? I don't know if mine is too small, but getting some spacing issues. I don't know. Do you mean just like point size? I have it set to like 16. It's like usually I set my font size to 16 pixels or whatever is like the normal size for it. What kind of like do you set it then to scale it down? I don't do any weird settings on it, to be honest. Oh, okay, so you're using like a predefined like viewport size. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so if you're using like that kind of setup, it's really it's exported as like a vector font, so it works best as for like a full resolution UI. But we can count the pixels. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 10 pixels tall. So if you set like, I think if you set your font size to 16, then that keeps it at a nice multiple. I mean, I could experiment with that. But there are other options that you can do if you have a small viewport like that. So you'll just have to mess with the font settings a lot. With labels, let's see what label options we have here. Because I know that you can set the font size here. I would keep just trying different font sizes to see if there's a particular size where it snaps to. Otherwise, your other option is... Let's see. There is like this whole thing that you can do where you can create a font type variation. Yeah, so in Learn-In, what I do here is I don't use a tiny viewport. If you look at what I just have a camera here that's set to zoom level 2, but the actual resolution of the window is not small, right? So if you look inside of like my window properties, I have this set to expand the aspect ratio and fractional scaling and stuff like that. So I just have a big, like this is full resolution. And then inside of your UI and stuff, everything is nice and like crisp because it's full resolution. You don't have to worry about like weird scaling issues with having like a specific size. And same with in game, like I just use a camera. I don't force the game window to be a specific resolution because I just find that it makes everything harder, in my opinion, to do it that way. Some people will complain that it's not pixel perfect or something. I don't care. This isn't 1980 anymore, you know? Doesn't have to be anymore. Let me know if that works out for you. It should. And then what I do for like my UI assets and stuff is I just manually set those to like a multiple. So I draw them in their base resolution and then I upscale them to double resolution. And that's why they still kind of look a little pixelated. So they fit in with all my UI stuff. Yeah, let me know if that works out for you. And then yeah, if you're still having issues, I would try create a they call it a font variation file. And that lets you do some more complicated things where you can mess with like character spacing and you can set like a transform scale and stuff. You can do a lot of different things with the font variation, so you can also mess with that. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the font's like error. I think it's just Godot can be a little, I mean, that's just what happens when you try and scale stuff with pixel art. It can be hard. Unless you use like you export the font as like a bitmap font. That is an option. But it does really become difficult there. Yeah, I think it's too small. I'm gonna try doing like size 16. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the best way to go about it. I think if you set it to 16 point size, it's like perfect integer scaling. as far as I know. Because that's usually what I set it to inside of Lurden. So, give that a try. Man, I still don't know like what minigame I want to work on. I am unfortunately out of time. I did say I was going to do a pretty short stream today, so I just don't know. It's like I need to brainstorm some new ideas for minigames probably. Do you even need another minigame? Well, here's the thing. What I want to do is like take one of the minigames we have already and make it like a rare fish exclusive, right? So in doing that, I don't want to decrease the number of minigames that we have. So I feel like 1 or 2 more would get us at a pretty good spot where we can do unique minigames for classes of fish. And also have enough variety for the normal common guys. So that's probably what the plan is going to be here. But yeah, I just don't know what kind I want to do. Hard to say. Whenever I had to think of a mini game like this, I think the easiest way is to, one that we could do, honestly, that's easy to do on both controller and on mouse is like a reeling mini game. Let's chain like 3 mini games. I have thought about doing minigame chaining like that before. It's probably something I'll look at doing, but that would require a pretty big like restructuring of the way that minigames finish and complete and stuff like that, and so it's sort of a little scary. So we'll have to see about that. Might be something that I tackle after release. It's hard to say. So what this could be here, when you think about reeling in your fishing rod, you're like holding it and you're going around in a circle. So I could see one like that where you have to like rotate a thing around multiple times. I'll have to remember how I did that inside of Starground, because I have the exact same mechanic there for rotating your little like bobber thing around for the fishing. So it's going to be similar. It's not going to be quite the same as that. It's just going to be like a progress bar that you fill up by rotating, I think. I don't think I want to do, because I already have the mini game where you like move the little region to go on top of the fish. So I don't want to just duplicate that again. So yeah. Oh yeah, here's this one. So yeah, let's work on that. We can go ahead and just get started a little bit, and then I'll have to end stream. But let's look at what minigames we have already that we can kind of duplicate. I think we can just duplicate the this one. Let's call this reeling minigame. Okay. So something I need to work on. More decorations for your aquarium. All right. I'm gonna copy this code. Luckily, the code for minigames is much simpler now because I use a inheritance structure. So it's very easy. I don't need this new round garbage anymore. I set the time limit. Don't do that. It's gonna be a lot of things that I change here, right? Don't need center angle. I'm not setting pivot. But then I just need to say if progress is greater than or equal to 1, then call success. I don't need to do any of that stuff. So now we're just gonna have our progress float is 1. I don't need direction, I don't need speed multiplier. Don't need a wheel scale. Don't need completed. I don't need speed. I don't think I need pivot or progress wheel. All right. So now, let's delete some of our extra nodes. I don't need this progress wheel. All right. So that simplifies this code quite a bit. This is the railing minigame, right? Okay, just making sure. Do I have a minigames table? I do. I need to make it so it automatically loads the scenes, and I don't think I'm doing that yet. And then, oh yeah, I have the description for it, I forgot. So I'm gonna say... Oh, and this is different now because it's not just input. This is gonna use the analog stick, so I'm gonna have to do some different input here. Which shouldn't be the worst thing ever. Rotate the reel with input. How did I describe this? Rotate your reel with input, so I'm going to show either the left analog stick or your mouse. To catch your fish. I'm going to say around. Okay. And then if I go into the fishing region, I can't remember if I have made that change already. I don't think I have, unfortunately. I'm just going to pop this in here. Boom. Oops, it's still called DVD. Okay, fix that. Plop them in right there. And then this has an array, I think, of minigames. Apparently not. Yep, it does here, though. Really minigame. So just for now, I'm going to comment out the others so I can test just this one. Okay. And then we should be good to go. Now we just have to actually go make it work. And then this one's also going to have to change because now it should say rotate. What is this motion? Like, I guess it's rotate, right? It's probably fine. There's no such thing as stage complete here now. All right, so what we need to do is keep track of... If we're on controller, we need to read in our analog input, and then if we're on keyboard, we're going to need to know the position of our mouse and figure out what the angle should be. I know there is like a relatively... Yeah, I do this with Starground, so I think I might open up Starground's code really quick. Yeah, circle, swirl. I mean, with the analog stick, rotate probably makes the most sense as a word, because that's what you're doing. It's going to be like this. You're going to be rotating it around, right? And then with the mouse, you're like doing this, like circling. It is a little different on mouse versus controller, I guess. So it's hard to say. I feel like rotate is close enough. I think people will understand immediately when they see the reel like moving and the progress bar go up, so. Can you make a minigame where it looks like a sniper scope and you need to wait till the fish comes out and snipe it? Be pretty epic. Yeah. I can write it down. Minigame where you snipe a fish. Free fire. Like daily free fish. Yeah. Let's go. Okay, yeah, let's go look at start round. Because I do this exact same code. No need to reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean? I can't ever frickin' find my repositories in GitHub, guys. How does it work? Why don't I just have a panel on the home page that's like, here are your repositories? I don't get it. All right, so that's going to be in... we have to find where it is. Scenes, displays, and it's like fishing display or something. Fishing minigame right here. And then I have some code in here. Okay, so I'm getting the angle. And then angle is that position plus that. So I'm just getting the difference, I guess, in angle. So I think I have last angle here, last rotation. Okay. So I think this should be possible. Seems pretty straightforward. Also, punch out type 1 would be cool. Yeah, you like box the fish. That'd be crazy. Yeah. Punch out minigame. Box the fish. That'd be wild. Yeah, there's a lot of wacky ones you could do. Alright, so we're just gonna copy this code to check what's going on here. So if we're in controller mode, then we're going to use all these binds. Now I don't actually have... I don't know if I actually have the analog stick set up as like a keybind. And I have all the joypad buttons, but yeah, not really... Actually, I think there's a way to get the angle. I'm not going to lie. I think you can say input.get joy... Is there an angle or something? You can get axis. Vibration. Right, and then the joy axis, so you can get like the... Oh, you can also do like distance. That's interesting. But you can get the left and... Okay, so we want to say get 0. Oh, but this is just for one specific axis, isn't it? All right, well then we'll just do this, whatever. I'll just call it left stick left, left stick right, left stick up, and left stick down. And just call this stick vector. And say var angle 0. Okay. Let's go add these to our input thing. So left stick. Oops. Left stick. It's a tongue twister, guys. Left stick right, left stick left up, left stick down. All right. Joypad axes. Oh boy. Oh, joystick. Where's left joystick? I guess left joystick is joystick. Okay. Wait, which one is this? Okay, this is up. Joystick 3. Oh, here it is. Left stick up. Dear God. Left stick down. Left stick right. Left stick left. That'd be a crazy name for like a company, like a gaming company. Left stick left. Or left stick right. I get royalties, guys. All right, so now we have an angle value. Then the next thing is we're going to get the angle to the point of our mouse position. Yeah, that should be it. Then I think all I have to do is check what our current angle is compared to our last angle. Right, so if our last angle, float. Now, when you're reeling in a rod, I'm thinking here, you reel it forward, so it's got to go clockwise. So now we just have to say last angle is equal to angle, and say var change is equal to angle minus last angle. So we will mess with that soon. All right, so we're gonna add a new like texture rect into here. We don't need this label here anymore. I don't really have a super good sprite for this right now, but I'm just gonna do like this for now. Let's do keep aspect centered. And then I'm gonna add another texture rect and just set it to some random sprite that I can use, planks. Keep aspect. I do want to set it to scale, probably. Okay. Now, here's our lovely little new feature that makes this 10 billion times easier. I just set a little pivot right here. In our offset transform, we do this position ratio thing, right? And so we just want it to be at 0.5. So now, when we rotate this around, oops. So I need to set the vertical here to 0.5. Doesn't seem to work. Maybe we don't actually need the offset transform here. Let's just set this to 0.5. Then now when I rotate this, yeah, it rotates around that point. So let's set this to like 0.1. So this is how the rotation here works now. Okay. And just for now, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Just put it right there. So it starts off at 0. So I'm gonna call this reel and handle. And now we're gonna reference these. So let's just get references to these at the beginning. All right. Hold on one second, guys. So handle, they're both going to be texture recs. Like so. This guy is that, and this guy is that. And we got to call add-on ready. So we're getting the change, and now real. Now I'm going to say handle.rotation is plus equals our change. And what I want to do is like clamp change to only be positive. Right? So I'm going to say clamp F. Now I might have to make it negative. We have to figure out what the proper direction is. But that way we don't have the reel ever going in the wrong direction. So I think it'll help people realize what they're supposed to do. Okay. And I can figure out some kind of conversion of what change is and convert that into progress. So I can just say like progress plus equals change divided by, 10 or something. And that should be pretty good. We probably will want a little progress bar somewhere in here. So let's go copy that from another scene that we have. We have one inside of Which one is it called again? FE minigame right here. I think we just need this little guy here. The fail bar. Then throw that in here. We'll put it above the instructions. Right there. And for the theme, let's not set it to be red. Called the progress bar. And then we're just going to set that value is equal to progress. And at the beginning, whenever we call start, we say progress is back equal to 0. I also want to reset the handle rotation as 0. Last angle is also 0. Let's make sure all those are being reset. But yeah, that should be it. I think theoretically this minigame should work. I'm going to set a pretty large time limit just temporarily so I can test. Let's see what the freak happens, guys. Oh, do I have to set an ID on this? Oopsies. Hold on. Also, I need the time limit label specified. Let's call this LA real. Okay. Let's try it out. And everything died. Why is that? Valid property name. Did I might have called it the wrong thing. Oops, I called it reeling and I did the wrong ID. Oopsies. Let's try it again. Oh, and this is all wrong. Hold on. Angle here is going to be the position from the reel. Yeah, plus half of the reel's size. And then get angle point to the mouse position. And then... Oh, we actually already are setting handle there. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to do that, to be real. Actually, let's just say handle rotation plus equals right now. I might lerp it, but I don't want it to lerp too hard. Okay. Didn't crash. Let's try out the minigame, guys. It's gonna be crazy. Hold on, let me go buy some upgrades. Better bait. Only a couple trill. Hope we catch a big one. Lerp, lerp, lerp. Railing. So yeah, you can see it's working. The angle stuff is a little bit off, so we're gonna have to fix that. You can see it doesn't rotate the other way. So there's only one direction that you can rotate it. It should be pretty clear that that's the case here. It is weird how it's doing this. I don't know. Oh, I think it's because for just a second, like the value becomes different. We'll have to look into that. Yeah, you rotate in this direction. So what's going on here? So when we're at down, it is a little bit funky. See, because it's like, I feel like it's always off a little bit. Oh, I guess that's just because you could do this. Yeah, I'll definitely add arrows to the reel, just so it's clear what direction you're supposed to go in. Yeah, this is a little bit of a problem. So what I need to do is check if the current change or like angle is greater than what it is already. So it should be pretty easy. I just have to say if angle is greater than last angle, then we only want to calculate this stuff, right? I think that should fix that issue. So it's not going to start like rotating again until the angle that we've now approached is past what the last one was. I think that'll work. I think it might just work, everybody. Then we also got to check controller. Hopefully it works. Plug her in. Oh. Oh yeah, it works. Kind of. And that stopped working. And I think that's because last angle has now become like negative or whatever, and the new angle is positive. So that doesn't fully work. What I need to do is like compare. So how can I do this? I think I might want to say F mod on the last angle. And then I want to say that at tau. Possibly. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try it out. Ooh. No, it just hits that wall, then it can't go anymore. So I need a different way to compare angles. I wish there was like a way where I could like check if an angle difference might be like what I need. Right. So I think I can say if angle difference between that and that is greater than 0. That's how I can kind of check this. Because angle difference uses a different mechanism to check the difference between an angle. It doesn't take into account like the limit of a value. So I think this will work better. Maybe. Who knows? All right. Let's see what happens. I did it opposite, so I should have gone, I think, less than 0. Oh. Oh, that is weird, though. But I think that's actually what it's supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little weird, but... It's also because of the way that the... Yeah, I don't think saying handle rotation plus equals change is a good way to go about this now. It only does it if it's greater than it. So it should be fine. I should be able to just say, do this lerp thing again. Let's see here. I can't clamp the angle. Let's rename this from angle to like check angle. Or I guess I just clamp it to last angle. No, I need to know that. So var valid angle, I'll call it. Right. And so whenever this has happened in here, we say valid angle is equal to angle. And then now I can rotate this to the valid angle. I'll just set it to 1 right now, but say handled our rotation, valid angle. I hope that works. I think it'll work. Let's see. Oh yeah. Take a look at that. Alright, so I think that's all good to go then, honestly. I don't think there's anything else we need to change to make this work. We can change, like, the amount of times that we have to rotate it by. And then we can also just say here, if, you know, not active or whatever, then return. So the minigame doesn't start running before everything's actually configured. Then we add the arrows, and we do the progress stuff. And I think we're good to go. I think so. Let's try that. Then hopefully this should all work on controller. Now that I made that change with the angle difference, it should. But we'll test it out just to make sure. So yeah, it doesn't do anything until you start moving it in the direction, and then the progress bar goes up. Fish caught. And then if we try out controller, and I'll go through and like polish it up and add in some epic sounds and stuff like that, you know, to make it feel cool. But then yeah, this one you just rotate. Very epic. Yeah, it just works. So it's a pretty easy minigame. I feel like this is like a really good like basic minigame for common fish, you know? The more I divide this, the larger or like the less powerful one rotation becomes. So I might do that. I also need to reset the progress bar here. Let's just say progress bar dot value is equal back to 0. Let's do the same thing down here. So I'm gonna change this away into progress bar. Add a new variable up here. The type of progress bar is equal to that. So that'll reset that. And then this doesn't have to necessarily be 1. We could say like 10 times delta, so it kind of smoothly goes toward where your mouse or controller is. Which I think for controller would look a lot better because it is a little like jittery, just the input that it's reading in, so we'll see. You recently got a bunch of 4K Blu-rays. Oh, let's freaking go. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Oppenheimer. That's fire, dude. Sick. I do want to rewatch Oppenheimer sometime. Because it's epic. Yeah, I'm totally down. Oh yeah, this feels really good now, actually. Yeah, you just rotate this around. Actually feels pretty sick. With just a little bit of lerping like that makes it so much smoother on controller. And then let's try mouse again, just to make sure everything's working. Oh yeah. And what's nice is like, yeah, you can just go pretty fast here. I might possibly increase the delta a tiny bit, but not too much more. Yeah, I'd probably be down for movie night tomorrow. I shouldn't have anything going on. We'll be getting a new fridge tomorrow because my fridge died. So that might be a whole thing, but I'll figure it out. Oppenheimer was 13 bucks for the... That's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. It's pretty insane. Yeah, for all the stuff. It's crazy. I gotta go. Hold on. Anyways, but yeah, the minigame's working. I'm gonna go through and update all of the sprites and stuff and add in some sounds like the clicking when you're reeling in just because it sounds cool. But it's a nice little simple minigame that I think is fun. I like rotating around. So it'll be a nice... Yeah, it really didn't take me too long to get that implemented. This is what's nice about clean code and like having all these functions set up for me already, right? Like all I have to do is just the code for calculating progress and I'm done. So like it's really easy. Anyways, cool. I do have to end stream. There's some za ready for me to eat. So let's go raid out. Who do we want to raid today? Mr. Goonwatch is doing game dev stuff today more. Gonna wait for this worky little ad to be over. Good stream. Yeah, I got some stuff done. Chatted a bunch. Yeah, I just want to focus on like little small features, stuff like that minigame right now, because like worst case scenario, if that minigame didn't work or something, or I couldn't get it to work, I just like don't add it to the game, right? It's a little more complicated with like deeper systems, like doing the bait system like touches every part of the game. So it's not like an easy thing that I can just disable. So that's why that kind of stuff I think I want to explore after full launch, but yeah. Let's go raid Mr. Goonwatch. Thank you everybody for coming into today's stream. We'll be live again on Friday. And that's going to be sort of like some of our last streams. So we're actually going to be streaming the day of launch. So we'll do that. Maybe I'll show you guys me clicking the button that says release app. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start this raid. Bro, always a good time. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. So, all right. But yeah, feel free to wishlist alert in. It comes out on the 17th, so not too much longer, guys. Yeah, we're live again Friday, 3:30 MDT. Friday is a weird word. What does Friday even mean? Where did the word Friday come from? I understand Saturday and Sunday because they're like the sun or Saturn or something, like the gods. But what is Friday? Is there a god called Fry? I don't know what Friday is, guys. It scares me. Same with Thursday and Tuesday, actually. And Wednesday and Monday. Actually, a lot of days. I don't know where they come from. I need to do some research. All right, anyways, guys, we're going to go read Mr. Goonwatch. Thank you guys for coming in. Feel free to join the Discord too. And yeah, very soon, guys. I hope I make a bunch of money. That'd be cool. I'm not expecting to, but we'll see what happens. Okay, bye, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.